Welcome to Sports Talk with Steve Jones, the daily talk show with the voice of Penn State football and men's basketball. You never know what special guest may stop on by any given day. Now here's the man of the hour, Mr. Steve Jones.
I feel bad for you right now. I mean, now that you've lost all your Samson powers by getting your hair trimmed. Hey, really? You're moving faster in the hallway, though. I noticed that.
That's right.
I got to give you credit for that. My goodness. I thought your Sixers were impressive last night.
Yeah, minus Joel Embiid again. The guy's not played 6 games in a row for 3 years. How about that for a stat? Good Lord.
I know he's been hurt. He's been injured. He came off an appendectomy to play in the Celtics series. You know, all credit to him there. But like last night, it's a knee and an ankle. Isn't there a point, and maybe this is just naive on my part, isn't there a point where, like, for the good of the team, you give it a shot?
Especially in the playoffs.
I mean, that's just me.
Yeah, I especially playoffs. I certainly would. There's no doubt about it.
What gets me is that all your teams are like this. They're all like this. 49ers, no guts.
They always have injuries, yep.
No guts, no glory.
Nope, absolutely not. Nope.
Well,
numerous injuries.
We think.
That's I believe so. Yep, Flyers missing the guys. Yeah, I'll tell you.
I mean, your teams are all, every time you turn around, they're banged up about something. I mean, holy mackerel. You know. All right. So, very interesting story going on right now with Duke basketball. Nothing to do with personnel. It has to do with everything to do with money and TV. They're going to play Michigan at Madison Square Garden, Gonzaga in Detroit, and UConn in Las Vegas. I think that's the order. All right. And so 3 neutral site games. They have sold the rights to all 3 to Amazon Prime. Okay. And there's a problem, of course, with the Big Ten. Because they're saying, hey, whoa, now wait a minute. You can't, like, independently sell that, you know? I mean, this, you know, Michigan has a contract with the Big Ten. I mean, for example, the Big Ten contract with Fox, NBC, CBS, and Fox includes, under its umbrella, BTN.
Yeah.
So if you've ever wondered why, for example, you don't see Penn State on Flow Wrestling, that's still a thing, right? Flow Wrestling still exists?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Now, do you think that Flow Wrestling would love to have Penn State's non-conference matchups?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but they can't do it because of Penn State's affiliation with the Big Ten and the contract with the television networks, including BTN. Can't do it. So Penn State cannot independently sell its non-conference events. So say for example, let's take Oklahoma. They wrestled Oklahoma this past year. It was the opening dual meet of the season. That would be a non-conference matchup. All right. Well, either BTN carries it or nobody, or BTN Plus. I mean, so Michigan is in this. They played last year The game was in Washington. They sure acted like Duke was the home team in that, if you recall, because the game was on ESPN. Duke requested to play with Wilson basketballs, which Michigan was great with because that's the basketball they used for the NCAA tournament. They wanted to play in Washington because Washington was a regional site and so forth. They acted like it was okay, somebody has to be the home team. It seemed like Duke was. Well, if they're doing a rematch at Madison Square Garden, who's the home team this time?
Yeah, feels like it should be Michigan.
And that is,
Yeah, it's also a game that's, it's in December. It's before the conference plays began, but it's not the hefty part of conference play is officially not there just yet. So I think it's a big game. And obviously it's going to be big ratings no matter what, but it's going to be a spot there where absolutely, the Big Ten entity deserves it.
I mean, it's not as if there are not going to be games featuring Big Ten teams that are not on Fox. You'll have those. So, for example, the Players Era Tournament is going to expand to 24 schools this year. And the week of November 16th, Players Era 8 will have Florida, Houston, Kansas, Auburn, West Virginia, Notre Dame, Rutgers, and UNLV. Thanksgiving week, Players Era 16 will take place with Michigan, along with Alabama, Gonzaga, St. John's, Louisville, Tennessee, Iowa State, Miami, Texas Tech, Baylor, Maryland, TCU, Oregon, Creighton, San Diego State, and Kansas State. Now, this is all going to be on ESPN, which means that Oregon, Maryland, Rutgers, and Michigan are all going to be playing games on ESPN as a part of this tournament. So, I mean, it's not as if you can't do something like that because they've done that. But this is something where Duke went out and they sold it to Amazon Prime. Now, I'm going to guess they had to get permission from the ACC to do this.
I would think so.
Because they have a contract with ESPN and the ACC network, including their non-conference games.
Yeah, I would imagine they would have to have.
You would think they have their rights.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how this does on streaming should it go through. I mean, the UConn Duke game and the Gonzaga Duke game, those will go through. And we'll see how the fight turns out with Michigan and Fox Sports over the Amazon Prime deal there. But it'll be interesting to see streaming-wise how well this does. Because remember, what was the highest-rated regular season game last year in college basketball? By a wide margin. They had like 5.5 million viewers. It was Michigan and Duke in D.C. In fact, it was the most watched regular season college basketball game in 9 years. I think it was 8 years. So how well will it do on Amazon Prime? I mean, that's subscription. So do you get 1 million viewers? I don't know. It's not going to be 5.5 million.
Not at all.
Unless you combine that with, like, a free viewing of Jack Reacher. I have no idea.
No, not at all, though. And it adds to the frustration, I think, that a lot of fans have with streaming.
Well,
and that's the other part of it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. That's that's going to be interesting to see whether they do it or not. I mean, how well they do it. They're going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is going to be, once they do it, what kind of viewership do you get? And Michigan is a bigger draw than UConn and is a bigger draw than Gonzaga. Gonzaga, I will point out, is a bigger draw than UCLA. So a lot of people don't realize Gonzaga's TV ratings are really good. And like it's UCLA and all 12 national titles, none since 1996. Right? But Gonzaga outrates them all the time, and not by a small margin. But Michigan is the one that would draw the biggest rating, not just being the defending national champion, but the brand of Michigan. When Penn State played Michigan in Madison Square Garden in a regular season game 10 years ago, I knew that, and it was a doubleheader. It was Penn State, Michigan basketball in the afternoon, Penn State, Michigan hockey at night at the Garden. And what struck me were the number of Michigan fans at the game. I said, no, Michigan's got a lot of alumni that live in the New York City area. Well, so did Penn State. But that crowd was 50-50, maybe even 60-40 Michigan. Duke, of course, has a great following as well. But there'll be a lot of Michigan fans at the Garden for that game. I don't know what the date of that game is.
The only thing I know is December. Yeah, I don't know if it even does it have a set date yet is the question.
Yeah, that I don't know. You would think if you're going to do it in December, you do not want to do it the third weekend of December.
No, absolutely not.
I mean, do you do it the second weekend and play it after the Army-Navy game? Before the Army-Navy game? You don't want to do it at the same time. I mean, streaming, do whatever you want, but still. But this is going to everybody is trying to find more revenue. Everybody is trying to find more revenue. I mean, Penn State has a new deal with Adidas, found new revenue. Penn State has now going into its third season of its deal with Playfly, more revenue. All right, the TV contract in the Big Ten is now starting to get to the backloaded area of it, more revenue. College football playoffs going to bring in, for everybody in the Big Ten, more revenue. Everybody's trying to find sources of revenue. If you're an ACC team, Duke, of course, being in that category, you're really searching for more revenue because your TV deal is not good enough to compete with the SEC or the Big Ten. So you're looking to find ways to get more revenue on the table, and you have one of the ultimate brands in college basketball in Duke. So now they're going to take it and farm out these. I don't know how much money they're going to get from Amazon Prime, but it's not going to be a $1.95 subscription. I can tell you that. And this is a big play by them.
Sure it is.
This is a big play by Duke to do this.
Absolutely.
But everybody's in search of more revenue. I talked about Penn State. I included Michigan in part of this. But if you're Duke, your search for revenue is more desperate because you're an ACC team and you don't get the benefit of a gigantic contract from ESPN like the SEC does. You don't get the benefit of gigantic contracts from Fox, CBS, and NBC like the Big Ten does. Your contract is in a category where Florida State has been trying to figure out how to get out of the grant of rights, and for some odd reason in the 8-page document, they can't find the magic word for years. Years. That's what I kept telling everybody over and over again. I said, they can't break it. It's not big.
Yeah, I was going to say it's 6 pages long or 8 pages long, right, so it's not.
Right. I mean, you could have your lawyers pour over every single word, right? After years, if you can't find the word, it's not there. It's not going to magically just appear in the paper for you. But you have to find the revenue to do it, to compete. This is one of their ways of doing it. My question is, did they get permission from the ACC to do this? I know they're neutral games, but they struck the contract on their own. Wowzers. And then Michigan's like, we're in the Big Ten. I mean, I don't know if Michigan gets a separate cut from this.
I don't either. Yeah.
For example, when you play a game in football, you play a game at Notre Dame, you do get a cut. Part of the NBC deal. Anybody who plays at Notre Dame does get a cut of the Notre Dame television pie. I mean, you're not going in there for free. You know what? Like, hey, we get to be on TV. Neat. It's like, no, we get to be on TV. Show me the money.
San Jose State may be okay with that. I'm pretty sure the Big Ten teams aren't.
No, San Jose State is more desperate. They need no.
Much bigger check.
When Nevada came in here, what did they get? 1.1, 1.2, something like that, right? Does that sound right?
Yep.
I remember years ago it was like earth-shattering when Colorado played at Ohio State. They got 1.4, like 1.4 million. What do you? Now it seems like pocket change. But this is going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Meanwhile, the expansion of the NCAA men's and women's basketball tournament is getting closer to a reality. The NCAA committee has called for today, this afternoon, to be the final steps so it becomes formal of the expansion. The expansion process could be completed by this afternoon or this evening. Told you it was going to happen fast.
Uh-huh.
So they're going to go from 68 to 76 teams. You can't do this unless you've had conversations with the television partners. My understanding is that in March, in conversation with the television partners, it was not a slam dunk, to use a basketball phrase. And then they finally picked up steam in April with it. I think once everything's settled down, in other words, your CBS, Warner Discovery, whatever, the tournament's over with, you settle down a little bit, and the Masters is over with, and everybody can kind of sit down in a room and logically talk about how to handle extra games at a second site in the opening round. It's the most significant shift since they went to 64 teams in 1985. Now, they did add a single team in 2001. That's because the Mountain West and the WAC split. So that meant another automatic bid. They did not want to lose an at-large bid, so they went to 65, and then they upped it to 3 more teams in 2011 to get it to 68. So Tuesday and Wednesdays of the men's tournament will be different. It will expand to 12 games, played by 24 teams at 2 different sites, thanks to the 8 additional at-large bids. Dayton is expected to stay as a site. They think that the other site will be outside of the Eastern time zone. I have proposed Omaha. Center of the country. That's in Nebraska, Jason.
That is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Center of the country.
Been there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. I did stay overnight there back in February in Omaha.
And they were still remembering me.
Oh, no, your pictures were on the lampposts.
I tell you, I legally paid for that piece of the seat from Rosenblatt Stadium. I have receipts.
I mean, Dick Girardi says, is that the Jason Lord we know? I said, yeah.
Oh, boy. Yeah. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
At least my pictures have not made it to the U.S. Postal Service yet. That's when I'm really going to be worried.
Well, the beard and the mustache was like, I didn't quite understand that. Okay, so what this means now, I'm proposing Omaha because I just think that I want to pick a town or a city that embodies the same things that Dayton does. Dayton loves its college basketball. Obviously, the teams that go there, they come in and they bring their fans with them. But the rest of the seats are filled by people from Dayton, and that thing is sold out. Omaha, I think, would bring the same dynamic in a little bigger arena. I think Dayton's arena is like 11,000 plus, and Omaha's is like 15. But that's just me, just throwing and spitballing it out there. This also means this. and I don't think people realize this, nearly 1/3 of the men's field will now play either Tuesday or Wednesday, featuring 24 of the 76 teams. And then the traditional 76 or 64 team bracket begins on Thursday. And that should look and feel exactly the same. So it's the Tuesday and Wednesday part like going, whoa, there's a lot of games. You remember Dayton went 2 one night, 2 the next night, right?
Yep.
Now you're going to add in 8 more teams. Okay. So that means you'll have 24 teams playing 12 games. That means you've got to play 6 games on Tuesday, 6 games on Wednesday, right?
Yep.
So 3 in Dayton and 3 at the other site, then 3 at Dayton, 3 in the other site. Okay. Allegedly, the TV deal that they have struck for this, they will make a profit. Now, what does that mean? Okay? It means this. It means they have enough money for the payouts to the respective teams with a little bit extra beyond it. So it's not going to be a one-to-one, hey, the teams are there, we can cover the, in other words, we can cover the rent, because you have to rent the building.
Sure.
You have to cover the rent. You've got to be able to cover the bus transportation. You've got to be able to cover the hotels. You've got to be able to cover the planes. You got to be able to cover the buses to transport the teams back and forth. Got to be able to cover the meals, and you have to be able to cover the units that you will then eventually distribute to all the schools across the country. And then you have a little bit extra beyond that. So that's the idea of whatever they're doing. It's not going to be like this massive windfall. There will be a profit from what I understand. Okay. So that gives you a little bit of margin to work with. But there's so many expenses involved in this. Renting the arena, charters for the teams, bus transportation, hotels, the meals, okay? And then eventually, how much money you pay out in units to the respective conferences. Because just by making the tournament, you automatically get a unit. It's about $350,000. Like between $350 and $400, about closer to $350 probably per round. And then you multiply that times 6 because it rolls over 6 years.
Yeah.
So Penn State made 3 years ago, $700,000. It comes out to $4.2 million for the Big Ten. Okay. So that's what they, supposedly this afternoon they'll do it. Like, I'm sitting in the room. I vote to go to keep it at 68. But I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, this is horrible. So look, let's just let it play out and see how it plays out. Then we can make an evaluation of whether it was good or bad. It's one thing to sit here and complain about it ahead of time. This is disastrous. This is bad. This is okay. And you are absolutely entitled to your opinion. You may think it's disastrous and it's bad. I'm again, I vote to keep it at 68. I think it was working really, really well. But at the same time, if they're going to do it, I don't worry too much about things I can't control. Well, I can't control this, so I'm not going to sit there and really worry about it. And I want to see how it works first. For all we know, it works really well, and everybody's like, okay, and they accept it and go on from there. I'm glad they didn't go to 72.
Yeah, exactly, because you're going to get to 76 anyway.
Right, so you might as well do it now and just get it going. And you want to, if you're the NCAA, you want to establish 76 for your next TV contract. Hey, look, this is how it works, So I'll take a wait and see mode on it. In all likelihood, it benefits, the additional 8 bids will benefit power conferences. I would say on average, the power conferences on average will probably get 5 to 6 more bids. And maybe the mid-majors get 2, and in a great year, 3 bids. Maybe. For example, if they come out next year and all 8 bids are power conferences, there will be so much complaining. And I'm talking about from the media. So much complaint about, hey, extra. They all went to the power conference, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to wonder if they get into that selection room and they go, for example, let's give you one that you have to base it on last year's tournament. Belmont won 26 games. I think they're in the Missouri Valley now, right? They changed. I think in basketball they might be Missouri Valley now.
Missouri Valley, yeah.
You act like I don't know what I'm talking about.
I didn't know. I can admit that. I did not know it. That's why I had the power of looking it up and could act like I do, but I did not know that.
Can you hear me?
Did not know they moved.
One more guy, please. But they won 26 games. They don't win the tournament. They would be a team that I think would be a perfect example of an expansion. They get in. You've got to find room for some of these teams. And if you go with 8 Power 5 schools, especially in the initial one, that's really going to look bad. And it's going to reinforce the arguments that you're seeing here. Now, Aaron Rodgers is going to visit this weekend. Breaking news.
There you go.
Wow, that's nowhere near Phoenix. All right. Woo. Get to that in a second. But that's, I'm just saying, when they sit down, I think they're going to have to go in with the idea that if it is played out in such a way, you have to wait for it to play out. But if there's a Belmont and somebody else is like a 25, 26 win team, they're really good mid-major, the whole thing, you got to find room for them. Because if it's 8 Power 5 teams, you're going to have a public relations nightmare in your hands.
Oh, no doubt.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Aaron Rodgers, according to all reports, is expected to visit the Steelers this weekend and is likely to play for them this season, according to NFL Network's Ian Rappaport. There is no agreement between the Steelers and Rodgers at this hour.
No.
Steelers president Art Rooney II told NFL Network, which is no longer on our cable, they got absorbed by ESPN.
I was going to say the 4-letter network intercepted it.
Yep. They remain confident that Rodgers would be the team's quarterback in 2026 and believe the uncertainty would wrap up soon. However, Rooney said at the NFL's annual meeting in late March that the Steelers expected an answer from Rodgers by the NFL draft, which came and went without that decision. General Manager Omar Khan, Coach Mike McCarthy, however, said before the draft that the Steelers were not putting a deadline on the 42-year-old quarterback to notify the team of his decision. Khan indicated the team's conversations with Rodgers have all been positive and good. But if you notice, in the past week or so, the Arizona Cardinals. Okay. With Rodgers remaining unsigned in free agency, the Steelers did apply the rarely used UFA tender on him last month, ensuring that he would be eligible to secure, they would get a compensatory draft pick if he signed with another team. If Rodgers were to sign the tender, he would receive a 10% raise off last year's salary, which would pay him about $15 million this season. Yeah. He turns 43 during the 2026 season. My God, this is George Blanda. He was 10-6 in 16 starts. He missed Week 12, a loss to the Bears after fracturing his wrist in a win over the Bengals. He hit 65.7% of his passes, 24 touchdowns, 7 picks. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. You want to talk about Brock Purdy?
No. This is
who's your backup quarterback now? Oh yeah, it's the old Patriots quarterback, right?
Yeah. No, it's still Mac Jones.
It's Mac Jones. Yeah, it's your backup.
Huh?
Backup.
Who I kind of thought they probably should have moved, but apparently was not a lot of interest.
I'm trying to think why.
Played well last year. I kind of felt like that.
He was all right. He was all right.
I think the kid from Indiana is still the third string, right? Rourke?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. But, yeah, it's amazing. Aaron Rodgers. He doesn't, the Steeler fans are rather, I would say, not excited about Aaron Rodgers. There's nobody on the roster as a quarterback they're excited about.
No.
But they're not excited about him.
No, and it's part of that is Aaron Rodgers himself, what he's done for his image personally, but the other part of it is how old he is. He's been around. He's not the Aaron Rodgers that we saw in 2010 anymore, and that's very obvious. So that's another part of it. But yeah, having said that, I think if he's willing to be, that's a big if. I think he can easily mentor their young quarterback room right now. I don't know.
You can mentor a room just by observation.
Yeah. And that part of that is, yeah.
You don't have to sit there and go, hey, let me show you this. I mean, they may have a question or two.
Absolutely. And he's still one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. There's no question. So you look at what guys like Will Howard and Drew Aller are going to be looking at. They're going to be looking at a guy that's going to easily be a first ballot Hall of Famer, a guy that's won a Super Bowl, a guy that has been in big game after big game after big game. And that's the other part that you bring to that. What does it hold for Mason Rudolph in Pittsburgh? I have no idea. I don't think long term he would be there, but who knows?
Yeah, I don't.
I think with the quarterback's room right now, as you have it, I think if you're the Steelers, you're obviously keeping Aller, 3rd round pick. I think you probably want to hold on to Howard. Do you want 4 quarterbacks on your roster? That's on your main non-practice squad?
Yeah, that's a little difficult.
I think you'd probably get one on the practice squad, sure, but I don't know if you put 4 on your main roster.
Aaron Rodgers, in his prime, was just an absolutely great and a fun quarterback to watch. He's not in his prime anymore.
No. Like I said, it's not 2011 and 10
What does
anymore.
it say to you about the Steelers that he's their best option at 42 and by December be 43?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Same as last year. He was their best option, and he was a year younger. And it wasn't that much younger. He's still in his 40s.
Oh, I know.
So that's no doubt about it. It's a franchise that is. You look at what the Steelers have done, and body of work with the Steelers over time. How great of an organization they've been. They had a history of drafting well. Had a history of judging incredibly well on free agents.
Right.
That's not been the case these last few years.
No, it is not.
It really hasn't.
But again, I mean, Kevin Colbert did okay.
Yeah, sure.
Right. But you kind of wonder where the influence was of Dan Rooney.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. What Art Rooney, third, is doing. Second. I was going to say the second, and I even met the guy. That's the worst part of it all. even met the guy, and he sees.
Yeah, because I believe he refers to you as Jason Lord III.
He probably does, or Junior. I don't even have a second. Art Rooney's the Junior. Yes, the second. And that's you do kind of wonder, and that's.
But I mean, I know Omar Khan's in charge, but you always felt, for example, in choosing a coach. I know he was young at the time, but Dan Rooney had a lot of influence in hiring Chuck Noll.
Yes.
He had all the influence in hiring Bill Cowher and all the influence in hiring Mike Tomlin.
Sure.
How much influence he had over the draft, I'm getting the sense that he had enough.
I agree. Enough with free agent negotiations, too, where you had policies that were in place and you enforced them. Yep. And you also understood.
Art the Second doesn't have the same feel for it. Doesn't mean he's a bad guy or anything like that. It has nothing to do with that. Because I just think there are certain people that are exceptional when it comes to their feel for it. Now, you also have to have the resources, but you're an NFL team. How can you not have resources? But, for example, Howie Roseman of Philadelphia has a tremendous feel for his job.
No doubt.
Doesn't mean every single thing he touches turns to gold. That's not true. But most of what he does is the right move. The Steeler draft this year, I know nothing, and I haven't talked to Matt yet about the Arizona State kid because they released in the Big 12 with Iowa State this year and the last 2 years. In fact, Iowa State played Arizona State in the Big 12 championship game in 24. So I know nothing about him. I mean, I know he's big. Statistically, I mean, all the measurables to go with the fact I don't think he gave up any sacks this year or anything like that, which is great. But like some other guys they got, like Jeremy Bernard, no offense, he's Roman Wilson. He's just another guy.
Another guy, I don't think so. Right? Yeah.
Now,
really
but then they go out and they get the kid from Iowa, Dunker, who's I thought was a terrific pick. Where they get him in the fourth round?
Fourth round, yeah.
Right? Like they get him. You're like going, now that's a great pick. At least in my opinion, I think he's got a shot to be a really good NFL player. Now, awesome, incredible, no, but Jennings Dunker, I think, has a chance to be a guy that has a career in the NFL. He's not going to just be like an in and out guy and like bump around the league. I think he's got a chance at a career. But I mean, picking up Michael Pittman, I think is a good, solid pickup. That's solid. Okay. DK Metcalf was solid. Trying to think, though, there are certain games he had more penalties than catches, but that's a different.
Or didn't play at the end of the year.
Oh, you're just so negative.
Well, to his credit, that was kind of a. You've got to keep your cool if you're him. Absolutely a mistake on his part, but that fan was ridiculous, too.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
There's no doubt.
There's a lot of issues.
Yeah.
Yep. But that is. I mean, you're talking about decisions. Now, do I think the Minkah Fitzpatrick, Jalen Ramsey trade was good? Yeah, I think in the surface it probably. I
think overall that entire sequence where you first went out and traded your first round pick for Minkah Fitzpatrick years ago, I thought you got great investment out of him.
Yes,
and then you trade for Ramsey, which I thought was I thought Minkah probably lost the step at this point. Yeah, I think that was a great trade.
That was fine.
Yep.
Drafting Joey Porter Jr. has taken a little bit of time because you and I both know Joey's a little handsy out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yet this year he turned in his best. This past season was the best he's played.
Sure.
He's played great. T.J. Watt, great pick.
Oh, there's an incredible pick. Yeah.
Cameron Hayward was drafted by the old man Art himself. I'm just kidding. He's been there a long time.
Yep.
So it's not as if and they're smart enough to keep renewing Chris Boswell.
Sure.
But it is
the other part I think that gets over.
But you need the quarterback part. Everybody
Absolutely.
needs it. And look, the Steelers have been going through this since Ben Roethlisberger, they have been in search of.
Yep, that's exactly. I think people underestimate how difficult it is to replace a franchise quarterback.
Well, I think they're finding out now.
I think if you find out, there's no question. And that goes for anybody that criticizes franchise quarterbacks. Oh, get him out of here, get him out of here. Well, I'll tell you what, right now, you may wish you had him back at some point, whoever that person is that you criticize, because it is extremely, extremely difficult to replace a quarterback, especially one that is a Hall of Fame caliber that's won you Super Bowls. Yeah. Extremely difficult to replace a quarterback in the franchise. And yeah, absolutely. The Steelers are finding that out fast. The Dolphins have been finding that out for 25 years.
The 49ers moved out Montana. They moved in Steve Young.
And
they won a Super Bowl.
He's fortunate that he won a Super Bowl. That team was loaded. I think I might have been able to quarterback that team in the Super Bowl.
Your Montana worship.
That's part of it. I think that's part of it. I think you will always... You're a 49ers fan, you will always rate Montana over Young. There's no question about that. But I think that...
I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
11 touchdowns, and no interceptions in 4 Super Bowls. You're pretty darn good.
George Seifert did not treat him well out of town, getting him out of town. That was not a good sequence at all. But and look, Young was a good quarterback, Hall of Famer, without question. But
he speaks highly of you.
I'm glad he does. I try my best to speak highly of him, even though he struggled in the playoffs at times. Super Bowl 6 touchdowns. I appreciate that one more than ever. But you look at the prime example. Steve Young does leave. I think he covered up a lot of the 49ers' flaws in the late 90s because Jeff Garcia comes in. It took him 4 years to get anywhere near the playoffs. The other part, Dan Marino retires. Who's been the Dolphins franchise quarterback since Dan Marino retired?
You're not talking about the 49ers anymore? I kind of dozed off there for a second.
No, I'm making the...
we're talking about them again.
But, and again, the prime example, the Dolphins have been looking for their franchise quarterback for I can't tell you how long. So
now it's Malik Willis.
And now it's Malik Willis. It was Tua how many years ago when he stayed on the field? And that's it. It's incredibly difficult to replace a quarterback. And that goes for, look, Jalen Hurts has his flaws, quite a few of them. I think he at times holds the Phillies jeepers. He might hold them back too while he's at it. He probably holds I think he holds the Eagles offense back a little bit. Yes, I would agree with that. But part of that I think is coordinator calling too. He's been through 6 coordinators in 6 years. That doesn't help. But the other part of it is...
What, he his agent?
Maybe. But I think ultimately he's won you a Super Bowl. He's outplayed Pat Mahomes in both trips to the Super Bowl. Does he have his flaws? Yes. But to any Philly fan calling for him to get out of town, good luck replacing him. Because it's clear as day now. When you lose a franchise quarterback, it's not easy to replace them. It doesn't matter who they are.
Yeah. So you know what the football team did last night?
No.
Football team last night. They're closing out the semester. It's finals week right now. I mean, because you used to skip finals, and
begged to pass the class. You bet.
I have to admit, I've never seen anybody use cash the way you do. Peeling it out. C's and D's get degrees. So they had movie night last night.
Nice.
They watched Saving the Roar.
Nice.
Right? Nash's film about the 2012 football team. So it's pretty cool they did that last night. I knew they were going to eventually do it. I just didn't know when. It just turned out it was this week they did it. So I think it was last night they did it. So yeah, it's right. You have to go on. You have to pay for it online to see it. But it is. I mean, there's a segment of the population that I completely understand does not want to look back on it. I understand that. I mean, it's like, let's just move forward. I understand that. But if you want to see, they were going to do a movie about it, And then they decided that they wanted to do it a movie but documentary style. And get the perspective of Michael Motti and Michael Zordich and Bill O'Brien and John Bacon, who wrote the book Fourth and Long, and so many different perspectives in there that it tells a story about one of the truly great programs in the history of college football, and all of a sudden this happens, and you have people inside the NCAA that want to SMU this program.
Mm-hmm.
You really did.
Yeah, absolutely.
And through negotiation, they kept the program alive. And something that's never. Bill did an incredible job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bill did an incredible job. The players did an incredible job. But some part that's never really received enough credit is the job that Joe Paterno and his staff did to recruit those players to Penn State, because they had people to work with in that 2012 season. Like good football players to work with in that season. Yeah, Michael Motti, or all these guys we're mentioning were recruited by Joe and his staff. They're the ones that recruited them. And that's never brought up. But they were able to persevere and keep the program alive. And not only alive, but competitive. And they went 8-2 in their last 10 games. It should have been 8-1. There was a horrible call in the Nebraska game out there. Oh well, things happen, right? But to do that was remarkable. Then they hung in that. The 13 is not a part of the movie. And then James came in. I was talking to Wes Durham from the ACC network yesterday, because Wes was going to sit down and do an interview with James for the ACC network. It's going to be a 1-hour interview. He wanted to talk to me about a few things. And I said, look, the guy took over in 14 and 15, and Bill O'Brien told me once, he told me 100 times, that he said those are going to be the 2 worst years, because that's when the sanctions would really kick in. But in 2012, in that stadium, it was an us against the world feeling every single game. And to go out and do what they were able to do was remarkable.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at the special victories at Beaver Stadium over my lifetime, and look, there's been plenty. You never forget the Nebraska game in '82. You don't forget the Nebraska game in '02 or any of the special whiteout games, without a shadow of a doubt. But to me, I think that Wisconsin game is up there as well. The end of the year, Wisconsin misses that field goal. Your call was incredible, obviously on the radio that day, and it was that was a moment I think you remember quite a bit if you are associated with Penn State in any way as a fan, or or somebody on the outside, somebody on the inside. That was certainly a special moment. It was a special season.
Oh, Monte Ball broke the touchdown record in that game.
Yep.
Yeah, and Penn State had to fight back. And Jordan Hill played one of the absolutely great games. I think he had 12 tackles in the game. 12 tackles for a defensive tackle. And he didn't get a good grade from Larry Johnson. I think he graded him a 2. Like a 2. He says, I was kind of bummed when I saw that, Steve. It's like one of the legendary plays in NFL championship game lore. I don't mean Super Bowl. I mean NFL championship game lore, because the winner of this game was going to go to the first Super Bowl. Dave Robinson. The Cowboys have a chance to tie it and send it into overtime, and Don Meredith went back to pass, and Robinson freelanced, and he belted Meredith right when he threw the ball, and Tom Brown picked it off in the end zone, and it sealed it for Green Bay. Because he freelanced on the play, Lombardi gave him a -2. But Lombardi later told Joe, because Joe met Lombardi a few times, right? Lombardi told Joe, he says, I know I gave him a -2, but that was a heck of a play. All right. You don't seem to have the same Samson powers.
No.
You just don't. Yeah. Well, Bluey's going to make a special appearance at the Spikes.
Nice.
How about that? That's be great for you. Bluey's going to be there on Sunday, July 26th.
All right.
All right. Huh? I know you like to collect autographs. This will be great.
Not much of the autograph guy these days, but yeah, I'll take a Bluey autograph. You bet.
Oh, boy. All right. Sounds great. We'll be back with